How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. I'm Marshall. It's late Saturday night. I don't have a whole lot going on. I was going to wait to make this video later on, but I was like, might as well just get it done now. Let out my emotions. This team is losing a lot of games, and it's obviously not fun for any Aggie fan right now. The Aggies are now below 500 for the first time this season at 10-11, 3-8 in conference play, and we started off the year 6-0, so pretty frustrating. Feels like we haven't talked about a win in forever. I mean, it's been 2 weeks, but we played 4 games since then, and lost all of them. Lost our home games, and like I said in that video, it was like to lose all 3, and that's what happened. So the worst nightmare came true. We're gonna talk about all of that right now and what's going on with the team, why they're losing games, and if and when they'll turn it around. Obviously, a big part of the losses, like we talked about multiple times on this channel so far this year, is the defense. Obviously, coming into the year, as you guys know, we knew that wouldn't be a strength of the team, but we were really hoping that they would improve on it. In some cases, it looks better than others, but then it doesn't always result in a win, like that Middle Tennessee game that we should have won. Helped them to just 59 points, but then we only scored 55 as a team. And biggest thing is just those big runs. I mean, the start of this game against Kennesaw State, it was 8-0, then 10-1, looking really good. And then we let them go on a huge run. It was like a 50-16 run. They scored like 40 points in the span of 15 minutes. Jaden Harris had a really good game, 16 points, former Aggie. You want to win those games against your former players, and we just haven't been able to do that. 0-3 so far against them, and we won't be able to get a winning record against them. We play against Kennesaw State the last game of the season. Maybe we'll get a win there. I know UTEP and Delaware are playing right now. I believe UTEP was winning that game. I believe they got the win. So that means obviously the Aggies are going to fall even lower. If the season were to end today, they wouldn't even be in the tournament. They'd be the 11th seed and not even get into the Conference USA tournament. So one of those things, if you get hot at the right time, good things can happen. But if you're obviously not in the tournament, you don't even have a chance to make the NCAA tournament. What are you doing? Obviously, we're pretty finished third, compete with teams like Kennesaw State and Liberty, and we're at the bottom. Liberty's at the top, Kennesaw State's right in the middle. We just haven't met expectations, and we're only half game ahead of last place, and definitely not a spot we'd want to be in. The guys look like they're giving effort for the most part. There's times it doesn't always look like that. I feel like the guys love each other off the court. You can see that. It's just that their connection isn't always the greatest. The chemistry's not always the greatest. And obviously that's going to happen, with it being a brand new team and stuff. But later down the season, you would hope it would get a little bit better. Today was the start of the second half of conference play. I was really hoping they could start to turn things around now. And obviously it resulted in a 23-point loss to a really good Kennesaw State team, 76-53. You obviously hope we can get a bounce back against them. And are we going to sweep anybody? That's another question. I mean, I guess technically we swept Sam Houston because we only played them once, and they're also the top of the conference. We've beaten good teams. Look at that UC Irvine win, that UNM win. I was talking to my friends, like, we won those games, did really good, things were looking really good. I don't know what happened with the team. I'm not sure if there's any locker room issues. I know a lot of people are coming at Coach Hoon for his job. I think Coach Hoon has done a good job coaching this team. Obviously, you look at where they were years ago. Obviously improved a lot from there. Something I was also talking about with some friends of mine is this team's really, really skilled, but maybe they just don't fit Coach Huden's system. Maybe they're not Coach Huden type players or Coach Huden type guys. Huden obviously always tries to recruit guys that can play defense and do great things on both sides of the floor. Huden is a tough, coach to play for. He preaches defense really hard on his players, really wants to win. I feel like a lot of coaches are like that, but Coach Huden's really, really intense based on what, you guys have seen, what I've seen. I haven't been to their practices, but just at the games you can tell, especially when they're on the sidelines helping with media relations. I'm like right there next to him, so I can see how it's all going. He's calling these plays. We'll get frustrated when the team's not doing well, but he also gets really, really happy when they're doing great things. I'm just trying to think, maybe a reason they're not winning games is just because the players just don't like Huden's system. You can't really blame that on Huden, I feel like. It's just the way he coaches. You look at his, previous years, he's only had 2 losing seasons, and hopefully this isn't a third one. It's on track to be, but hopefully that's not the case. His only other losing season was with the Aggies, his first year coaching. He had a year at Sam Houston. I can't remember when it was, but he's also had a lot of good years. I mean, you look at that 2023 team, my freshman year here when it was the Aggies-Hazen year, they went 26-8, beat the Aggies by double figures. He had that 2015 team that was arguably better. I can't remember what the record was total. It was kind of similar to the 26-8 team in 2023. I want to say they went 26-9 or something. Made run postseason play. He's made postseason play 6 times. Has never got to the NCAA tournament. Would really love for him to do that with the Aggies. We'll have to see, how it goes as time goes on. This obviously isn't the season we want, and the players are trying to stay positive, and that's a good thing to do in the situation. Hopefully, you can kind of get hot at the right time, but you also want to win some games now. Obviously, I know when they started off 6-0, they had lost 3 straight prior to conference. I was like, hey, get these losses out now, right? Once the conference starts, you get that big win against Sam Houston. Obviously, destroyed Southwest. They also had a couple games on the road to FIU and Missouri State. Got back on track with that Western Kentucky game and then played really, really well against Middle Tennessee. It was looking like they were going to get a big win there and keep improving from there. And I think that Middle Tennessee game is just stuck with them. They haven't been able to really improve from there. The Liberty game, they was right in their hands to win the game at the buzzer, just didn't get it. They've had 4 games this year where they had a chance to win it at the buzzer. Tight games, clutch games, 5 points or less in less than 5 minutes, and they haven't won any of those games. A lot of the games they've, gone down early, came back, and just couldn't finish the game. This one they started good early and then lost the lead and just got blown out. Would love the Aggies for just for them to turn it around. There's times they look really, really good, have a lot of energy. Again, they went up 10-1, 8-0 at one point. Juice had like 6 points early on, hit a 3. There was a point where we only had like 1 field goal in 12 minutes though after all that, and then Kennesaw State was scoring every time. If you're not going to be able to score, you got to get stops. And even early on too, we went up 8-0 and 10-1. I know I'm saying that a lot, but we had the chance to push it to even like 20-1. There were so many chances we had to score, and we just couldn't finish it. So some boneheaded plays, some boneheaded passes, like Juice, I think, threw the pass to Jacoby and hit his leg. I thought Juice played a good game. He had a double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Obviously not perfect. But he started off the game with 9 points. Wish he would have finished it off, but he was one of our better players today. I don't know if I mentioned this last video, but I do believe that he's one of our more consistent guys for sure, even more than Jamel sometimes. The game against Delaware, he only played 11 minutes and had 4 points. Season low on both, or I guess the tied season low for points. He had against FIU on the road in that loss, 89-74, only had 4 points. But he had 13 points tonight. Not on the greatest efficiency. None of our guys really shot well. So overall, this is a tough game overall. I know we're talking more about the Kennesaw State game today, obviously. But the Delaware game was obviously very frustrating. I mean, they got down 25-10. They just didn't come out with the right energy. Obviously, the Aggies are a much better team than Delaware, have a lot more size, more athletic. And then you can say that for a lot of teams in this conference. On paper, this team is one of, if not the most skilled team in the conference, and they're sitting at the bottom of the standings. So there's definitely something wrong going on. Maybe there's some stuff we all don't know about. But on the court, definitely got to be defense. Some of the guys are going to go at it with each other. Adversity is going to hit. That's the biggest thing, too. In sports, you're going to hit adversity. You got to learn how to respond to that. There's been a lot of Aggie teams in the past. As of recent, they've been able to respond to that well. This team just hasn't been able to do that just yet. And it sucks. They've hit a rough patch. I think a lot of people are giving up on the team. But, for our hopes, hopefully they can get that all figured out and situated, toward the end of the season, in the second half of conference, and be able to make that conference tournament and, have a chance at, making the NCAA tournament. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, how bad your record is, as long as you win those conference tournament games, whether it's 3 games or 4 games, depending on what seed you get, anything can happen. I was talking a little bit about the inconsistency. I also think that's a really big problem, obviously. Some players like Jamel, he scored in double figures in every game except for 2 of them. Juice is usually a guy who always gets a near double-double or gets a double-double. Obviously, those are 2 main guys. Elijah Elliott is a top 3 leading scorer on our team, but he's only scored 7 points in the last 2 games combined after having a 26-point bomb the game before. Anthony played really, really good against Delaware. Really got us back in that game and kept us in the game for the most part. Scored 20 points, 7 for 13 shooting, 6 for 12 and 3. Only had 4 points today. Jalen Randall's had a lot of good games, had that 21-point outing against South Alabama early in the year, who we only lost to by 2 and had a chance to win at the end, and the refs really messed that game up. That's really the only loss this season I wasn't super, super mad about. And South Alabama's doing really good, 15-6. UC Irvine, 15-6. UNM, I think they had a game tonight too, 18-4. I think they beat San Jose State. All these really good teams that we beat. Stanford's 10-12. They're not doing as good as maybe they thought. Georgia State, who we just short by 30, they're 9-13. We're 10-11 now. They're almost close to us. There was just so much going on, right? I know they had a couple of those struggles against the Division II schools, but they're still winning those games. They're really connected as a group. The fans are engaged. Now, that Delaware game, that the fans, obviously they're involved, but really, really frustrating. I think Jamel had a turnover he just threw out of bounds. The student section was really frustrated. A lot of the fans were leaving early. It's just an ugly sight to see. You really hope that the Aggies can turn it around. They have Louisiana Tech coming up. Not going to be an easy matchup. They're really, really good. A team that we swept last year, but again, struggling this year. Overall for us, they play against UTEP. UTEP got to win tonight. They're ahead of us in the standings now. They have a better conference record by 1 game. They started the season off slow, and even though they're not playing the greatest basketball in the world, they're still finding a way to get wins here and there. And a rival game on the road, especially, is always going to be tough. We have them home as well, 2 weeks after next week's game. So hopefully you kind of string a few wins there. We've kind of split them past 3 years, and I was really hoping that this would be the year that we sweep them. But now the way it's looking, who knows what's going to happen. Coach is still switching up the lineup a bit as well. Gabe Pickens got the start today. He's got a couple of DNPs as well. Chris has started some games. Elijah started some games, looked really good. Jalen Randall started some games. Jamel's been coming out the bench, against Delaware. against Missouri State earlier on in the year as well. So that's another thing that's been a struggle too. We usually by conference play, you kind of like to find your rotation, find the starting guys that are looking good. You try to find the mix of the defense and offense. Everyone's gonna have their strengths and weaknesses. Like Coach Nunez has said in multiple press conferences, but I know something fans are really upset about is that we don't really have a consistent starting five just yet. We have so many guys who have started a game, but it just hasn't been consistent. So that's something definitely I would love to see. I think we had a 3-game stretch. We had the same starters. Jacoby was one of those guys that was in that 3-game stretch, along with Kyrie Smolin. Mullen got to start today. Jacoby didn't. Anthony's been in and out of the lineup. I'm not sure if we have a player who started in every single game. Like the only guy you would think that maybe be is Jamel, but he hasn't started in 2 games. Juice has obviously been really consistent in that starting lineup as well. Has been really, really impressive. Very versatile. A lot of the players individually are doing their job, and you would expect that from them, but they're just not putting together wins. So that's something they definitely need to work on for the near future. And also, we're not there at the practices. We don't know everything about the team. We're not on the team, right? We don't see what's going on at practice every day. Hopefully they can just continue to build the chemistry and get hot at the right moment, like I've talked about a lot, and like the team has talked about a lot in press conferences recently. I'm tired. It's late. Frustrated with how the Aggies are playing. Would have been really nice if they got the win to make the mood a little bit better for all of us. Please let me know in the comments what your thoughts and opinions are. I probably could have gone a little more into detail on certain things, but I kind of just gave my main points. Obviously defense, I think chemistry is a big issue. Trying to figure out that starting lineup, figuring out the strengths and weaknesses of everybody, trying to learn each other's games, trying to pick each other's brains. What's going on behind the scenes. We'll see how that's all going. Just really hope they can improve it. I'm sure we all think that. Please let me know in the comments below what you think the main problems are, if you kind of agree with ones I was saying, or if there's any more, or if you kind of think differently from what I'm thinking. I just love to hear your guys' thoughts. I know a lot of times I've been getting a lot of comments on videos or certain community posts and stuff. Not all the time. I would love to see comments on every post I do, every video I do. Just engage with the fans and community more. As you guys know, we recently hit over 900 subscribers. Would really love to hit 1,000 soon. Keep building this thing throughout the rest of the season and for next season as well. Off-season news. Obviously, that'll be coming up in a few months whenever the season's over. We got to focus on the present right now. The next game against La Tech on Wednesday on the road. It's kind of weird too with these games. I'm used to conference games usually strictly being on Thursdays and Saturdays. Now you got to mix up like Wednesdays or even Sundays in there. So maybe that's something the players are getting used to as well. But not a lot of players have played in Conference USA before, other than Gabe and Jacoby being our only returners. And then obviously Anthony was a guy that was on the bench last season, couldn't play. Now he's back. Obviously, it's another issue we talked about. The whole chemistry issues. Only having 2 guys come back, but that's almost like every team nowadays, especially mid-major schools. Even if it happens at the Power 4 level, they can still sustain a lot of talent or get a lot of talent because they're a bigger school. We don't have that luxury, obviously, at the mid-major level. I really miss the days where the Aggies were, going dancing all the time, right? Now it's like, again, only one team makes it in Conference USA, because a lot of people want us to go to the Mountain West, right? And you look at Conference USA, we're kind of struggling there. If you look at the Mountain West, even if it's a little tougher, at least more teams get in, right? You got 6 teams sometimes get in. Whereas in Conference USA, you could be like Liberty, right? I'm pretty sure Liberty right now, they're on pace to win the whole thing. Wouldn't be surprised if they do it at all. But they could keep winning all these games, only have like 3 or 4 losses on the year, and then losing the first round of the Conference USA tournament and not get in. Your season boils down to that one game. Whereas in other conferences like the Mountain West or even bigger ones, the Power 4 level, you don't have as much stress on those games. So a lot harder for mid-majors to get in, obviously. And, that's just the day and age of college basketball. You're going to lose guys each year. Yeah, it sucks, but we're not the only team going through it. And at the end of the day, it's sports. No one's going to feel bad for you. So you just got to figure out ways to win, as hard as that is to do. And the Aggies are searching for those answers. Obviously, us fans, we don't know how it is to play college basketball. We don't know how it is to coach college basketball. But these guys on the team, all throughout, have experience doing so and should know what to do. And try my best to have confidence that they will get it figured out soon. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, please comment below, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. I'm out.